So I am standing here at one of my favorite little bakeries at Albrook Mall. I think it's called Panaderia de Oro. And whenever I travel, if I'm going to take the bus to Cologne or to another place where I have to get a ticket, I usually stop here, get a coffee. I think the coffee is like $1.25, very affordable. But they have empanadas and dangerous stuff. So today I went to the embassy and I dropped off my paperwork for my passport renewal. And I'm going to do another video about that. But I decided to just stop in, get a coffee. But what I want to show you, these little things are called rositas. And they are a miniature version of the bread that we eat here around the holidays. It's round, it's an egg bread, and then it's they have almonds in it, almendras. So in the absence of the big bread, you can buy these little things, and then they are really good. I like shortbreads, and they're good with coffee. So that's what I'm having. Coffee's okay. I mean, it's not the best. But, hi. You're quite welcome. So, I thought the mall opened at 9:30, but it looks like they open at 10. So, I have a few minutes because I need to go in there and make a transfer from my bank in the U. I like to dip so I can have money in my account, which is something we do every month, or I do, and other sisters. So, because banking, as I explained to you, it's not easy. So you have to find a system to get money into your account here. So you not go into the ATM with a US card and get all those fees. So, well, let me tell you. So this, with tea, it's just perfect. It's crunchy and it's shaped like the big bread. So they call it rosquitas. Rosquitas, and whenever you see itas, it means small. All right. So for my passport renewal here in Panama, you go to the website. Hola. You go to the website and then you follow all the directions. Okay. You have to send in your regular passport. It has to have not been expired. And, you have had it for the last 10 years. My passport expires next July, but you can renew it earlier than that. You don't have to wait till the last minute, right? And you don't have to go home to renew your passport. There's a form I filled out online. It's called, I think, DS82. For renewal, and then you sign it. Then you have to get a passport picture based on their specification, 2x2. Here in Panama, I went to Arochas. Arochas is a store that is kind of like Target, but a bit higher scale, I guess, and it's a chain. So you go, even have CVS, right? But bigger, and you can get your picture taken there, and then they'll ask you, is it for US or orange? You say US, because then I had to take off my earrings. They made me take this off and take off your glasses. So that picture looked awful, okay? You hear me? You take my glasses off, you take that off. All these things are like to hide certain things, But anyway, the picture, and then you have to staple it to the phone. did I print that? I'm trying to think, how did I print the form? I must have gone to Office Depot to do that because you have to print it. And it's got 4 pages of instructions, so I kept that. You sign it, you date it. Then you have to go to their portal and you pay. It's $130, and you have to pay with a US issued card. So I couldn't use my Panama account to pay for that. If you want the passport card, the wallet card, then it's another $30. So I paid $160. Then you have to print proof that you paid. So you have to print that. So I think, yeah, it must have gone to Office Depot. And then you have to not attach, but just include that in your packet. And then you have to go to DHL. I found a local place. This one was on Balboa, in Balboa Boutique, but they have them all over. Hola. And you tell them, because they're used to that, you tell them you want an envelope with the air bill that is prepaid. You pay DHL. I want to say it was $20-something. I don't remember exactly. And then you get your receipt, and then they give you the air bill. Now that, you have to make 3 copies of that and include it with the envelope with the rest of the paperwork. But let me tell you, when I got to the embassy, so I took the bus from Albrook, C820, at the, I think, Bay, I don't remember, but it's the one that's closest to Super 99. Hola. Cutie. Come on, I'm too old to be called cutie. And it was like maybe a 15-20 minute ride. Then you have to cross the street. That was dangerous because there is no crosswalk. But because they know that people go to the embassy, all the time, they need to have a crosswalk. I think I'm going to email the mayor. Gracias. I'm going to email the mayor to see if he could put a crosswalk there, because that's dangerous. Somebody's going to get hit. And you could have taken a taxi, but I don't use taxis here in Panama. I don't trust them. Or I could have Ubered, but Miss Cheapo, and I'm like, 25 cents, I can do it. Yes, but in some of the chats, they say, oh, don't take your purse to the U.S. Embassy. Listen, I had my crossbody purse, and I had this purse, which I always have because it's got my umbrella, my fan, and all the stuff that I need when I go. So you can be cute when you're walking the streets in Panama. You have to make sure I have a towel in there, a sweat rag. I have masks in there. I have hand sanitizer. Gotta be ready. All right? So I walked and I get in and I said, okay, estoy aquí para renovación de pasaporte. Renovación de pasaporte. Okay? That means passport renewal. And then she had a list and she said, okay, take it out. Because then I had to put everything in a yellow envelope, right? So I thought I was going to have to just hand it. It's like, oh no, you got to take it to the office and all that. So she didn't tell me anything about my purse or anything. People say, oh, don't take your purse. I didn't even think about it. So and then she said, you got everything, check. Made me take everything out of the envelope to show that I had my passport, my application, the picture, the payment, and the DHL. And then she's like, okay, they didn't check my bag or anything like that. So I went through, and then you had to walk a little, that area where the embassy is very hilly, very woodsy. So take a paraguas, an umbrella, because the sun was 9 o'clock. The sun was hot. Yeah. Make sure you take an umbrella. And so then she said, recto a la derecha. That means go straight and then turn right. So the first building I went, there was a gentleman there, and I'm like, pasaporte. And he said, yes. So I went in. And when you went in there, then that's when they did the security check, like the airport. You put your bags, let me take my glasses, this off, my watch. Everything went under the scanner. And then he said, you can take the envelope and anything that you need So he gave me my watch bag and my glasses, and he kept everything, and they give me a ticket. So they put it in like in a locker, right? Sorry. See, little thing like that make me feel so good because it's self-care, it's quiet, it's my own time. So I'm so boring. I don't need a whole lot. And so with my paper, my envelope, got my ticket, then I walk the next building. The doors are heavy. So I entered it. I didn't have my umbrella. I didn't know that, but I'm just telling you because the sun is hot. And then I got to another office. And that office, I told the lady, oh, you know, my son de pasaporte. And she said, go over there. And as I was going to get in line, this guy said, no, senora, come back, come back. And then he sat me on a counter like this. And then he said, there is a form for me to write my name. And it said that I have all the documents that are required. And I went check. And then I signed my name and dated it. He took that, and then he came back with like a clear folder. Not folder. What do you call that? It's like a folder, but it's plastic, you know, with the flap to close it. And then he said, one by one, he said, your pasaporte, and he took it, put it in there. And he said, the DS82 form, sign, he put it there. Your payment voucher, he put it there. Your DHL, he put it there. So he just took everything and he said, okay, gracias. I'm not, that's it. Yep. And then I got out, retraced my step, went back, got my bag, and left. I think the whole process took maybe 15 minutes. So don't listen to everything people are saying. Oh, don't take your purse at the embassy. They're going to make you. No. The other thing you need to know also, to renew your passport, I could have sent it to the embassy via DHL. So if you have any mobility issues and it's a bit difficult for you to do, you can send it in. But make sure you still put that return envelope because we're not paying to return your passport to you. So, and other ladies said they had their passport renewed. It took 2 weeks. And on the air bill is got my building address, my apartment. So I'm expecting it's going to be delivered to my apartment if there are no issues. And I hope that there aren't. But you just never know in this day and age, right? But anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. That was my morning. I'm supposed to have a consultation call. And then I have a sister who just texted me. She's in the emergency room. I have to check on her. Never a dull moment in these Panama streets. I really like this whole thing. I just hope I don't eat the whole thing today. And then, if you're having tea, you can have it. Then it is carbs, right? But I've gone to the gym 2 days in a row, so that's pretty good. Because we are going to, and I'm wearing green because we're the holiday season, red and green. And Mother's Day in Panama is this coming Monday. So I am at the terminal and it gets busy. People are going in the interior to be with their family and celebrate their moms. Yeah. It doesn't feel quite the same as in the States, you know, with the flowers and all that. There are deals, you know, in the stores, you know, like buying underwear and sleepwear. And I saw one place on Instagram selling some chocolate, you know, for moms. But it doesn't have the same level of commercialism that it has in the States. Here, most holidays, like us, they eat a lot, you know, that's a given. But in terms of gift giving, I don't think they go as crazy as we do, which is a nice thing to kind of observe. I'm glad I'm indoors, and I stayed here because if you ever come to, It's a bunch of ambulance people in the hall here. I wonder if somebody's hurt. Sume is one of the major ambulance companies, SUME, and the other ones that probably, oh, the police. You know, the police here at the terminal. Sometime I was taking a picture, and he said, so that's why I'm indoors, so they don't see me doing this. I don't ever want to be on the wrong side of the law. Okay, when you come to a country, you obey the law. And the police here are so nice. I don't ever want to be on their bad side. But that was Mother's Day coming. But we at SWRA, we are going to go on a retreat. Some of us, only 11 of us, because the sleeping arrangements were a little bit, and they're like, we need our own room, our own bed. I'm like, that was going to be hard. So next year we have to make it bigger. I have no idea what's out there. It's probably having a meeting or something. The popos and the ambulance. You know us, we kind of triggered when we see policemen. Muy bien. Alright guys, I'm going to have to rush to the bank, make the ATM withdrawal, and then deposit it in my bank. That way I have cash, because I'm going to be out of town this weekend. We want to have cash, right? And money in both accounts. So I don't want into trouble. We're going to have a yoga class. We're going to have massages. It's going to be fun. But I'm going to see how we're going to get pictures taken so I can share with you guys. It's going to be at a beach resort. It's called a villa. And apparently it's, well, from what we see on Airbnb, it looks amazing. So I'll be sure to share some of that with you. All right, guys. So I have to go now, get to the bank so I can see if I still make my call. You know, people book a call and it says on Calendly, make sure you pay before, you know, the call time. And many times they don't. And I'm like, then we're not meeting, right? I'll tell you. People want information, and you guys know I have loads of videos, not just me. Everybody else in town has loads of video of the how-tos. But sometimes if somebody needs a little hand-holding and they want to talk to somebody directly, and I only charge $50 for 1 hour, hour and a half. That is a drop in the bucket. But you know, some people still don't want to pay that. They want you to meet with them, pay for your own coffee, tell them everything you know, but they're not willing to pay $50. I think that's really sad, because you're going to be paying $1,800, $2,000 for your visa. And when you talk to somebody like me or somebody else, you kind of fast track. You know, you don't have to do certain types of research. I have a sister who flew in yesterday. Today she's seeing apartments, so I have to check on her, see how she's doing, because that was a really stressful time for her. One in the emergency room, another one recovering. I mean, life goes on in Panama, okay? People get sick, people die, things happen, and they have fun too, don't get me wrong. But life doesn't change because, you know, you're in a different country. It's a little trickier because sometimes you're not sure exactly how things are done. But anyway, I'll talk to you later, guys. Gotta go. All right. Au revoir. Bye.